Waiting for the live to sync up. Never know if I'm live. But I probably am. Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm Sam Lazarus, creative director for Rokoko, and welcome to another Rokoko Office Hours. This is a time when we're live and we're here and we're messing around with Rokoko tools, and then also doing something creative and having fun and getting into the chat. What's going on, everyone? Lord Luigi, Merlin, cool name. Grim Tomb, cool to hear about the suit. So today, I thought what we would do is jump into Cinema4D 2024, which is the big new release where they released a few new, hey Daryl, exciting, especially a lot of new rigid body, a lot of physics simulation stuff. But we're gonna go through and we're gonna show just the mocap workflow. We're gonna show how to and where to find the Cinema4D live plugin, and we're gonna kind of set it all up, and then we'll play with physics and simulation stuff too, because we can. We'll make a cape probably, because I love making capes, and yeah, just have a little fun. Get back into some Cinema4D. I actually haven't been in Cinema4D too much, because I've been in Unreal so much, but there's so many exciting new things in Cinema. So before we jump into it, what I've been doing in the last couple streams is going through and doing a little bit of news. Let's go and do a little CG news. So just things that I've seen over the course of the last week or 2 weeks that I thought were interesting, and just call them out and kind of go through it just quickly. So first one is this great little, this is a great little overview video of the cloth sim workflow from Cinematography Database. Super interesting. He kind of, Matt Workman is a Unreal dev, and so he tends to go pretty deep, but in this one he goes through it in a way that's pretty understandable. And so this is a great workflow. This is just a great video if you're trying to learn about the new cloth systems in Unreal. Next, we have a Unreal Engine. I didn't see this, but 2 weeks ago they put out a behind the scenes on this MetaHuman Animator showcase. Super cool. It's an incredible video. It shows the power of MetaHuman Animator. Interesting. Go check that out too if you're curious. Next, there was this cool little, there's a physical layout tool plugin in Unreal that looked pretty interesting, and it does a bunch of different things, but this video from Lone Wolf Studio goes through a couple interesting ways to use it and create kind of dynamic, real-time stacks of physical objects and stuff. Look, you can look at these, spawning all these rocks with like accurate collisions. So if you're on Unreal, one to maybe check out, it's free. So this looks like a cool one. And then finally in Unreal news, I'll point out this video from Jonathan Winbush, who's an amazing creator, who basically goes through the news that Unreal will no longer be free up to a point for non-game dev uses. So film, ArchViz, things like that. Unreal's not going to be free anymore. Winbush goes through the whole, deal of it, and so it's something to check out. I love Winbush. Go watch his videos. He's amazing. And yeah, that's some quick little news for you. At least that's the Unreal news. In Blender world, I saw a cool video of combining these ragdoll physics with mocap animation using Rokoko SmartSuit Pro 2, so I love that, obviously. Yeah, great video from Blender Secrets. They basically go through how to rig up a kind of a custom ragdoll and then do some Houdini-esque ragdoll animations with your mocap. This is kind of a cheaty, hacky way to do it. I actually think there might be, I don't know Blender very well, but what I would love to see is a ragdoll workflow from this where you get a ragdoll skeleton that you can then retarget onto a character. So you do the ragdoll sim, and then basically you retarget that sim onto your character, which I think would be doable, but I don't know. But anyway, super interesting video about combining ragdoll physics with mocap in Blender. If you're a Blender user, go check it out. And then we've just got, we're talking about Cinema4D. This is 3 weeks ago that the 2024 came out. But, their overview video is great. If you just want to get a sense of the new features in Cinema4D 2024, go check this out. And then also the Maxon training team has a bunch of great videos. It's a great resource in general when you're trying to learn about Cinema4D or do deep dives into some of the new tools. Look at this, so freaking cool. Little keyboard, soft body sim thing. Let me see it in action. Let's play it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So fun. What a fun little idea. I love that. Hey, Julio. Okay, so that is just some news stuff, from the last week or two. Let's move on to calling out the Rokoko news. So what is the big Rokoko news this week? Well, first of all, we have updated our Unity plugin. If you go to the Unity store, asset store, you can find the updated plugin. It works with the latest versions of Unity. Shout out to Sergey, our dev, who got it up to scratch. Unfortunately, our tutorials for Unity are a little out of date. They should still work, but they're just from a little while ago. But if you're looking for how to use the Unity plugin, one good place to check is always our GitHub. So you can find the plugin on the Unity Asset Store, but if you type in, Rokoko GitHub plugin, Unity, into Google, you'll get our GitHub. You can go to GitHub too, however you want to get there. But this has some getting started information and stuff like that that might be helpful. So, but the plugin is updated. Go do your Unity live. It's all working, and so that's really exciting. The other thing I'll call out again is that we had an update about 3 weeks ago now, where we did some really exciting new things. We added ARKit face capture into Rokoko Studio natively for retargeting, which is awesome. We upped the polygon limit to 300,000 polygons. We added a bunch of new command API stuff. So this is all new things in Rokoko Studio. And we're always, adding new features and stuff, and it's always getting better and better. Always upgrade your suit firmware. Always update your glove firmware when a new version comes out. Just something good to check every once in a while. And yeah, so, I'll put the release notes for the new version of Studio down in the description below, but super interesting, exciting stuff. And the other thing I wanted to do quickly is just kind of go through some of the resources on the Rokoko website. So if you go to rokoko.com, we have 2 tabs that, we actually have 3 tabs. This why Rokoko is interesting as well. If you're thinking about joining and joining the team and getting a Smart Suit Pro 2 or smart gloves, but we have this community and resources, these 2 tabs, and we actually put a lot of time and effort into making these useful and interesting. And into community specifically, if you go to artist spotlights, we have all these amazing interviews from these incredible artists that I personally really look up to. We had Fabricio, who won the latest Punisher contest recently. He gave us an awesome little interview, and you can find a bunch of links to all of his equipment, all of his videos and stuff. This is the breakdown. So incredible. But he gives, his thoughts and some tips and tricks and stuff like that. And these artist spotlights are really awesome. We also just did one with Toby from Epic Spaceman. Incredible channel, does these amazing animations, uses Rokoko content, and composites himself. I think that's him. Compositive. I don't think it's a metahuman, actually. I don't know. But really interesting stuff on the artist spotlight page. And we're always looking for new artists, so make sure to tag all your stuff with Made with Rokoko. And then beyond the community tab, we also have events if we have webinars and stuff, or user stories go up here as well. But under resources, so if you go to get support, we have a great support page that's searchable and can be a good line, like first line of defense for any questions that you might have. You know, troubleshooting stuff. If we type in, you know, onboarding. Okay, that was a bad one, but Smart Suit Pro 2. You know, we'll get all these articles and things, and then also just from like the main page, you know, getting started with Smart Suit Pro 2 jumps you right into all the videos that you should be watching, you know, on our YouTube, starting with the unboxing, but then moving on to all the other you know, videos that we have in the onboarding series, setting up your tools. So just a great little spot to get help if you have questions. You know, another one that I see, you know, repair kit or Wi-Fi are up here as often searched things. So just a good resource if you're looking for some help and the stream isn't happening and you're not finding the answers that you need online. Go check out the support page at Rokoko.com. Sorry, my voice is a little smoky, a little deep. And then the last thing that I will point out is we have this Rokoko ideas and roadmap page. So here you can see all of the things that are in development. This is actually is finished, this Unreal. Oh no, it's not. The Unreal Engine 5 export preset is not finished, but you can see it's being worked on. Look, I'm going to type in critical. I'm not going to do it right now. Importing metahuman characters, smoothing filters. Then you have all the requests. You know, you can add a request if you have something you want to see in Rokoko Studio. So just a really cool page. Again, you can find this at Rokoko.com or just by like Googling ideas and roadmap. I'll put it down in the description below as well. But yeah, you know, just wanted to go through a couple Rokoko-y things and yeah, just show some of the new stuff. I mean, the new Unity update to the plugin is the big news, certainly this week in the last few days. So there you go. Okay, so, you know, as I said, full screen it. At the beginning of this stream today, we're going to be looking at Cinema4D 2024. So this is the big new update for Cinema4D. So reportedly, it's been a little bit buggy, but always new exciting things in the new updates. Simulation stuff, rigid body stuff in this new one. But either way, I thought it'd be useful to do a little refresher on how to do, you know, how to get your mocap working on characters in Cinema 4D, whether that's through retargeting, whether that's through live streaming, or whatever it is. And so we're going to go through that process today. And the first thing that we're going to do, of course, is make some motion capture. So we got to make some mocap. We're going to jump in the suit. I will be honest, my stomach is like a little bit funny. So I think I'm fine, but I might have to like take a break at some point to go sort out some stomach problems, but we'll see. It should be fine. So I'm going to hop in my suit. Right now I got a Rokoko Smart Suit Pro 2, baby. I'll go over here. You can see it in my background right there. You know, let's hop into the suit, and you can see how easy it is to kind of get up and running, you know, using the suit. And actually, we're going to hop over to our other view. And before I do start, what I will say is, you know, when I'm using the suit, one thing that's really important for Rokoko is to have a dedicated Wi-Fi router. So I have a dedicated Wi-Fi router that's right over there because I'm live streaming. Nice, Merlin. That's so exciting. Oh my golly, Kansas. But because I, you know, what's really important, Merlin, and your suit is coming, so you should listen to this. Wi-Fi is so important for Rokoko. Rokoko works off of Wi-Fi, right? It's an inertial motion capture system. You can see a suit right there, right? There's no cables, so everything is going off of Wi-Fi, and that means that you need a good dedicated Wi-Fi network. It doesn't have to be dedicated, but what I find is that I get the best results using a dedicated router, and that by a dedicated router, I mean a router that is offline, that is only generating a Wi-Fi network. It isn't actually connected to the internet. It's just creating a closed Wi-Fi network that only my suit is operating on, and that way I have the entire bandwidth of the whole Wi-Fi network on this router to work with, as opposed to, like, I don't know if my wife is on like YouTube or on Netflix using up the Wi-Fi bandwidth of the network I'm on. That's not what you want when you're recording motion capture over Wi-Fi. You really want a dedicated Wi-Fi router. So actually what I have set up here is 2 computers, and this is just because I'm live streaming, and you don't have to do this. Merlin, and I hope it's Merlin. I can't see the chat, but I would get a dedicated one. Because like, it just means that you have, if you need to take your suit and go to another spot, you really need to bring a router with you, because you can never depend on a location's Wi-Fi to be like good enough for the suit. Just because some Wi-Fi is bad, and if it's bad and you're going to a shoot location or whatever it is, it's just kind of a good thing to have in your mocap kit. What I would do, Merlin, because I was just with an influencer the other week, and they don't have a dedicated router. Their home Wi-Fi is really good, so they don't use one, and it's fine. But test it out. If you're not getting good performance, invest in a router, because that's most likely what it is. So I have 2 computers actually set up. One, this computer is offline and it's connected to my Wi-Fi router. Normally when I'm not live streaming stuff, I just do everything on my computer. I don't have 2 computers, right? Because I just switch over to my offline router and I record my mocap, and then I switch over to my online normal Wi-Fi and I go back online. But because I'm live streaming, to get the best possible performance from the suit, there you go, plot coalition. That's a great solution as well. Use a mobile hotspot. You can use your phone. Even using my phone, sometimes I will get better results than like an office Wi-Fi or something, right? I just create a hotspot on my phone. But as I was saying, in this stream, I have 2 computers. So this one is piping its video over into OBS, but it is actually not like the computer that is live streaming out. So this is the one we're gonna use, and but we will jump in to the suit. I'll show you in this computer. So let's get in our suit. Somebody set up the timer. It's always good to see how long this takes. It shouldn't take me less. It should take me less than a minute to hop into this suit. Hold on. Let's do it. So I got my smart gloves. And I got my suit. Let's hop in. And I'm just wearing shorts, you know. You can wear it over clothes, but generally I find that, you know, it just doesn't bunch as much if you're wearing like shorts and a t-shirt. Again, some people, because you're sometimes recording people, the nice thing about inertial mocap is you can put the suit on under clothes, and it's gonna work fine. Yeah. Suit on, again, super quick and easy. There we go. I'm gonna take off my watch actually. And I just roll up the sleeves a little bit so I can make room for my gloves. Zipped up, ready to go. The last thing I'll do is I'll throw on my headband. And there we go. We're ready to make some mocap. So let's switch over here. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is throw on my smart gloves here. And the audio is probably not as good anymore. I'm moving around, but that's the way it goes. And again, this is a Smart Suit Pro 2 with smart gloves. Plug it in. Plug in my gloves before I plug in my battery. Let's check the chat. Yeah. Yeah. Dedicated router. I think it's a good one to do. Okay. Tuck in my wires and then plug in my bat. Here we go. Because everything's already set up, right? And so, what to do for mocap? If you have some ideas for motion capture, feel free to put it in the chat and we'll do some stuff. Otherwise, I'll just kind of do some idles. We gotta switch over here. And we'll create an actor profile. So this has my measurements. Drag on my suit. We do a quick calibration pose. Looking good. Ooh, this is a weird setup, kind of. I don't know if I love this. Okay, I think I need to do one of these. Do one of those. I can see that a little bit better. Okay, so let's do. I'm gonna do actually one thing I wanted to do is I got my dog here, and so we're just gonna kind of like I'm gonna pick her up and just give her a little scratch and see if we can just get some human motions here. So let's just do dog mocap. Hey, Puff. Come here. What? Come here. Hi. Come here. Give me a touch. Give me a touch. Give me a touch. Bump your nose. Come on. Touch. Oh, where are you going? Sit. Lie down. Shake. Shake. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you got drafted. She got drafted. She got drafted. One thing that I do like about doing kind of mocap work with pets is that you get a very realistic vibe. Just because you end up, forgetting that you're in a suit. And so you do end up getting like really natural mocap. Oh, look at this. Look at how good this looks. And this is inertial mocap, so there's always going to be problems, Maybe. This actually looks perfect, but, my hands are actually just like in the perfect spot. But typically, like, there will be intersection with your legs and things like that. And that's not abnormal. Okay, so that looks great. Little dog interaction. What else we got? We got any petting mocap. Alberto Flores, what's going on? The man himself. Oh my gosh, Alberto. Oh, I cannot wait. I'm working on the Unreal tutorial video, and you're getting... you're everything. That control rig, you're incredible. I cannot wait to distribute that. That's for another video. That'll be coming out hopefully next week. But I keep turning away. It's kind of annoying. Anyway, okay. Let's do some I don't know. Chopping wood for a campfire. Boom. Thank you, Coalition. Okay. I'm gonna get a prop. Ready to go. Props in hand. Let's do some wood chopping. So I'm going to do another calibration pose. We'll do some Captain America wood chopping here. Super good. Freaking out my dog. Poor little Bocce. You're okay, honey. Okay. So you can see sometimes we get weird legs, and that's just because it needs to process here a little bit. Let's play this back. See what we got. Let's chop that wood. So two-handed digital objects, like this looks good, right? This looks pretty good. But the truth is, to do this in CG would definitely require editing. And that's because anytime that you have two hands really locked onto any single object, like holding a rifle, holding a two-handed sword, holding a bow staff, whatever it is, you need to usually go in and kind of fix it. This does look great, though. Forgot to do my Captain America rip at the end. And we would go in and you know, maybe fix up some of the foot contacts. I can tell some of the foot contacts look pretty weird. But this looks pretty good. Let's try some shooting. Again, that's really more of a coil thing. But let's try a little shooting here. Let's do shooting, and then we're going to do an idle, and we're going to do some cape stuff. Okay, shooting. Yeah, I knocked over that bowl a little bit. Let's see. So weird. So that foot thing we can fix, right? That's just a weirdness. It's probably not finished processing. This looks really good. This looks really good right off the bat. Ooh, stocking. Bocce, you licking my sockies? Okay, we're gonna do idle, and then I have a funny cape idea that could be good too. So let's go back. And we're just gonna do a little idly action here. idle. Looking pretty good. We're gonna do another straight up idle. You can see we always get these weird leggies here at the beginning. But it looks fine, it looks really good. I just wanna do another quick idle. Very basic, straight idle. So I thought that could be like us in Cinema4D playing around with some fun stuff. And then the last one is, it's gonna be a superhero who's trying to take off, but it doesn't work. So let's do that. And that could be a really fun one too. Okay, I think we got it. I think we nailed it. Superhero. Hey, Pachi, you got something on your face. What is this? No? Nope. A little styrofoam. Looks great. Boom. That's it. Yes, it was not a straight... The idle ended up being very active. But I think this will be good. This will be funny. I could be Superman. Interesting. Maybe we'll go through this workflow a couple different ways. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Suit coming off. Let's switch it up. Let's switch it back here. Let's switch it to... Hold on. So actually what I need to do now is I'm going to reconnect. And actually connect to the internet. You can see internet connection reestablished. So now it's going to go through and it's going to upload all of this to the cloud so we can open it up on our other computer. So let's let it do its thing. Let's go back. let's close the scene. And then I'm gonna reopen it just to see if it was all synced. Yeah, it looks great. And what we can do is we can jump out of this now. We're gonna head to this guy. Close that out, and here we go. Now we're going to open up Rokoko Studio on this computer. Boom. Yeah. Suit off. Spear. And we're ready. We're ready to make. Now we're ready to make some stuff. Hi, Bocce. Good girl. Okay. So, what we are going to be doing now is we might need to wait for it to sync a little bit more, but we're going to get our Rokoko Studio into the right spot here. And I'm logged into the wrong team. I have to be logged into the right thing. So on this, I'm logged into the wrong account. So we have to go and log into the same account that we were on we're making that mocap. Sign in. It'll automatically log us into our Rokoko Studio, and I'm on the plus team, so we got to switch teams. Where do I switch teams again? I thought it was in here. Enterprise plan, yo. Or no, pro plan. This is what I need to sign in on. Oh, this is a bug, I think. Oh no, interesting. I think there's like a weird thing with signing in to different. How do I do this again? Okay, bear with me. Bear with me. Signing out. Just signing back in. I got a lot of teams going because we work for Rokoko. Yeah. Okay, so this should be right. We may need to log off and log back in. Okay, yeah, there's the switch teams. Weird. Brushboard technologies, what's going on? We're just getting into Rokoko Studio here. No, that's wrong. So we might need to go. Yeah, it's still updating. So this is just something that'll happen. Let's relaunch it. Over here. And basically we just need to force the cloud to update. Updating selected team. we just wait. How's the music? It's not bad. Chilling, cruising. Plot Coalition, it works very well over time, and it definitely works great for retargeting. It is something that is not, I think that, you know, and I think I remember you, Plot. I definitely remember you. I know you know kind of the vibe, the whole thing. It doesn't, you know, whenever you have digital object, no, not even that. Whenever you have characters that you're retargeting to, right, that are different proportions than you, which is every character, essentially, you might still need to do editing. So it's not like, no mocap will get rid of editing entirely depending on what you're doing, but what it will do is that it makes the hands be in the right spot, which is really amazing, you know. And I think there's if you don't have a use case that requires live streaming, then the coil is still really useful. I don't know. It's an interesting thing, the coil, because it makes the suit is already great as it is. It makes the suit better, but then there's a couple things that specifically it's very good at doing, which is preventing drift over long periods of time. Like, and then also making sure your hand's in the right spot. So if you're doing things like using a weapon, a two-handed weapon, or you're playing instruments or things like that are where you're interacting with your own body or your other hand a lot, then it's going to be a lot easier to do the editing. So it's going to save time. And I don't know, I'm rambling now, just waiting for this, but it definitely works over time, and it will help with retargeting. You'll have to do less cleanup, but there still will be cleanup like required, right? Depending on what you're doing. So I think that's just, I try to, you know, make sure that it's not a panacea. That doesn't exist in mocap. Will it make your workflows faster and easier? Yes, it will. Okay, we're in business. Okay, we're syncing, you can see here. Totally. Yeah, we are excited to show it more in action. We just want to... It's tough because I'm in the United States and our team is in Denmark, so anytime we have a new prototype, we have to deal with shipping it out, and not to make excuses, but yeah, we're excited to show more too. We are tweaking and finalizing basically the transition between the EMF to the IMU, and that's when it's going to be just so amazing. Oh, Caleb. Okay, that's who you are. Yeah, Caleb. I just was watching your clip the other day on Insta. I've talked to you on Insta. What's going on, Caleb? Sexy Rokoko Nerf gun clips. I think you have this Nerf gun. I feel like I saw. So this is, I think, pretty good. This is some cape business. And what I think we'll do is, this is the one I kind of want to play with because I think it's just really perfect for cinema. The first thing I would do is I would go in and clean any of the foot contacts, which this looks very good to start, but I can probably make it a little bit better. That looks pretty darn good. Like this one, I bet we can get rid of. Yeah. Sad Superman. Looks really good. So let's call this Superman fail. And now what we're going to do is we're going to export this out to Cinema4D, and we're going to go through retargeting this in a couple different ways. We're going to retarget it in Cinema to a Mixamo character. We're going to import a Mixamo character into here and export that out to Cinema. we're going to retarget to a non-Mixamo character to go through the custom workflow. And then we're going to talk about how to install the live plugin. So let me close Cinema4D, and this is Cinema4D 2024. And if I open it up, I've already installed the live streaming plugin into Cinema, and you're going to see this little warning that we'll get. And this is kind of how you know that it's been installed. This is just a warning that we need to put up because there's a slightly weird way that the live streaming plugin works. So I just hit cancel every time. If you hit OK, it just opens up a browser window and explains what the kind of the problem is. But we'll open up Cinema, and if you do want to get the live streaming plugin, we'll go through this again when we get to it in the stream. But let me open up GitHub Rokoko Cinema4D. Go to our GitHub, and we have this page showing the live streaming plugin. And what you do is you just click on code, download zip. It gives you this zip file right here. And you want to drag this zip file not into, I don't know, it kind of depends with Cinema sometimes, I find. One way to find the plugins folder is you go to Edit Preferences, and then yeah, so this doesn't have one assigned. Like sometimes you install it to here, and then you go to Cinema, the version you're in, and then you go to plugins. For me, the place that you had to install the Rokoko plugin is actually in Program Files, Maxon, Cinema4D 2024. I created my own folder called Plugins, and this is where I put the Rokoko Live plugin, and that's when it shows up. So we'll go over this again when we get to it later in the stream, but that is how you install the Rokoko live streaming plugin if you want to live stream directly from Rokoko Studio to Cinema4D. Okay, but we don't. We want to retarget. So the first step is we've renamed our clip, and then we're going to right-click, add to export list. If we are in this context, we can add all these clips if we want to export them all, batch export them. Then we would go to export, and you can see they're updating here. But if we're in the clip, on the export panel, it'll just be ready to export. And I'm going to be exporting. I don't need the body mesh. I'm leaving it off. You need it for Unreal. You don't need it for Cinema4D. Presets are going to be a Mixamo skeleton. Cinema4D and Mixamo love each other, so I'm using Mixamo. I'm going to go for 30 frames a second. I like 30 frames. And let's export this out to the desktop. Do I have a folder? No. Let's create a folder for this. 231005 Office Hours C4D 2024. And we will so here is our Superman fail Mixamo. Here's our FBX. Couldn't load because it doesn't have a body mesh into the FBX viewer, but it will load just fine into Cinema4D. So if we go into Cinema and we go to File, Merge Objects, I have this little shortcut right here, Merge Objects, and we go find our mocap that we exported, Superman fail, open it up. There we go. There we go. 30 FPS. It's a long clip, which is why it took a second to load. And there we go. Look, we got our mocap. And what you'll notice also is frame 0 is a T-pose. So this is going to be super duper important for our retargeting. So we got our motion capture. Bocce, can I move my chair in slightly? I'm sorry, you little flumpo. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you move? I'm sorry. You gotta move. Move your butt. Thank you. Good girl. If we want it to go in 30 FPS, we can turn off all frames. Now it's going at real time. Looks great. Okay, so we need Superman now. We need a Superman character. Let's do it from scratch, baby. Let's go to sketchfab.com. And let's search for Superman. And let's search for downloadable. And we need a, yep, here he is. Great looking Superman, ready to go. We're gonna download this. We just need the OBJ. We're gonna load this into Mixamo and do some auto rigging. So if you've never used Mixamo, welcome to CG. It's time to learn. You know, it's the most common auto rigger that I find out there. It's free. You just need to sign up for an account. You actually don't need to pay for any Adobe products, but it's got a ton of great mocap. You know, the reason that I originally bought a Rokoko suit was because I had exhausted all the mocap options on Mixamo. So it's got a bunch of mocap, but it's also got a bunch of mocap that's been pretty picked over at this point. Kind of everyone has used their mocap. Look, Astronova character. Super cool. But we have our own Superman character that we're going to go use. So let's go to downloads. Superman animated. Let's make a Superman folder on the desktop. I don't know why it's called Superman Animated. It wasn't supposed to be animated. It also came in with the textures. So here we go. I'm going to pull this into Cinema first, into a new project before I upload it into Mixamo, just to check out what we're working with. Something that I just like to do. Looks good. Let's add a standard figure. Okay. So, first problem. Look at how tiny Superman is. So, sometimes weird scale things happen. One thing I do to fix scaling is I add a standard figure. These are 6 feet by Cinema4D units. And so I know that it's way too small. It's probably a factor of 10 too small, or 100. It's probably a factor of 100. So if I hit Control D and I bring up my project settings, I go to scale project, type in 100. So this is going to scale the project appropriately and make him the right size. See, that's now the right-ish size. The other thing that I'll do before we upload this is I'll create 3 new materials. And I am going to... No, not redshift materials. Ugh. Redshift. Default material, yo. Oh, is the default material a redshift material now? Gross. I really hate this. Ugh. So I'm an Octane user. Ugh. Classic material. I'm gonna get 3 of these. And we're gonna load our materials that we have from our character on here. So they have normal maps too. So I'm gonna go to basic, add normal. Then I'll go to each mat. And here's the cape. Oh. Oh. And I can drag in the cape. And then in the normal, drag in the cape normal. And then for the next one, I'll grab his main body normal, main body color, and then we'll load these on. Look at what we got here. We got Superman. And we are leaving the cape on. And it's going to give us some weird rigging results, but that is okay. So now it's the right scale. It's got materials. It's ready to go. We should probably call it Superman. And we uploading this export in FBX, baby. Superman for Mixamo. Done. So now let's go load up that character. Superman for Mixamo, and this should work. Usually this works. Looks like it's working. We'll see. And it's good to go through this process, I think, fully. Doesn't seem to have brought in the cape, which we'll see about that in a second. That might be a visual glitch. I want standard skeleton with fingers. Next. So his cape is there. You just couldn't see it. It was being weird. Oh, it's like doesn't have back face culling or something. Some weird thing is happening. Works fine in here. The UV is just set bizarrely or something. It should be fine. But again, so normally if I wasn't going to be using cape dynamics, I would have removed the cape and just done him like alone, because the cape is going to involve all these problems that we're going to be able to fix because Cinema4D is so good. Yeah, you can see this is what we get with the cape, right? But it's not going to matter because we're going to do some clever shit. Excuse my language. So we got our upload. Go search for a T-pose. Download Superman in that T-pose. Boom. Now we got a Mixamo rigged Superman. Superman Mixamo rig. There we go. Looking great. And so now we can actually get into retargeting to this little Superman fellow here. And what we're going to do is we're going to shut down these two projects. We don't need these. Go back to our Mocap project. Let's save our Mocap project. Call it Superman Fail 001. We're going to import in our Superman Mixamo rig. We can do merge objects, or if we grab the file and hold down Shift and drag it in, it won't open a new project. It will drag it in directly into here. Delete the camera that comes in with it. And this is looking really good. So how do we now retarget this, right? I'm going to create a folder that's called Superman that has both the Superman mesh and the Superman skeleton. You know what? F it. Oh. Alt-G. We're going to call this Mocap. And we've got this. So the way that we retarget this Mocap in Mixamo, in Cinema4D is actually pretty easy. So for our motion capture, I'm going to go to the hips. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to rigging tags, character definition. We get this little tag here. If I go to open manager, we go down the path of doing retargeting. And retargeting in CG always involves a character or skeleton definition. That is where you go in and you tell the program, hey, this is the right arm of my skeleton, this is the left arm of my skeleton, this is the right lower arm, this is the left lower arm, this is the hand, this is the first finger bone, second finger bone, third finger bone. You go in and you have to tell the computer, hey, this bone is a specific bone that corresponds to another specific bone on my mocap, right? Because the computer and Cinema does not natively know, hey, when I'm copying animation from my mocap to the character, I should make sure that I'm copying from the right bone of the mocap to the right bone of the character. It has no idea. It's just a bunch of bones. So we need to tell it which bones are which. Thankfully, if you're using Mixamo or a lot of standard skeletons, it will do it pretty much for you. So if we just hit extract skeleton, boom, 66 joints extracted. We can go through and kind of check them. You can see hips. We got our spine bones. We got our neck. We got all the fingers and the legs. It's even got the toes. So it does this all for us, which is really nice. And then what we can do is set reference pose. And actually what we want to do is you can see on our mocap that our mocap is in a T-pose and our character is in a T-pose. But the only difference between these poses are the hands. Look at the hands. Look at the thumb on my mocap and look at the thumb on my character. So this is one thing. And the other thing you want to do for Mixamo characters is they come in with 2 keyframes. I hate keyframes on a character I'm retargeting, never good. If you go to select the entire hierarchy of the skeleton, select children, then go to coordinates and delete all these tracks. Now there's no more keyframes. This is a clean way to delete keyframes from something. At least coordination keyframes. But what we can do to match these hands a little bit better is go in, grab the bone here, and give it one of these. And this is how you set up the hands to have the best mocap from the jump, is you want the thumb just to be lying straight down, right? And we're gonna do the same thing over here. Selecting the first thumb joint, thumb 1. There we go. So that looks pretty good, right? You can see how much more similar that is to our mocap. And then what we can do is set reference pose. Or if we open manager again, set reference pose. And so that means that now, if something were to happen and we end up doing a bunch of things and changing the skeleton a bunch, we can always just click on this, go to reference pose. Oh God, it didn't do it. Interesting. Set reference pose. Oh no, I'm on my mocap. So, right. So this is for, we did mocap first. But if, say, the mocap were to get screwed up, it'll snap it back to the reference pose. So right, that was for the mocap. Let's do our character. We do the exact same things. Rigging, character definition, open manager. It's a Mixamo skeleton, extract skeleton. Boom, set reference pose. It all looks good. If, God forbid, we screw something up massively, go to reference pose, it'll get it back. Easy peasy. So character definition tags, super easy to set up for Mixamo characters. If you don't have a Mixamo character, you can do this manually. And we're going to do that later in the stream. But in this case, it was all good. So character definition tags on both. The way that we get the mocap over to our character is on our characters, our Superman's character definition tag, hit create solver, and then basically we just drag in on source character, we drag in our mocap, bada boom. Bada bing. Looking good. Looking clean. Weird Mixamo artifacting, but looks really good. So one thing, though, that you may notice is that, or you may have realized, is that this is a referencing situation. So there are no keyframes on my character's hips, on my character's skeleton. And that means we could go in and make a few, let's say that we wanted to, for the whole thing, have the chest of our character be leaning slightly forward. If we were to go in on our character, oh no, we can't do it. Okay, yeah. Interesting, because it's done through the reference pose. We could change the reference pose, and it would change how this worked. Oh, wow, look at that. Interesting. But anyway, this looks great. And if we want to bake these keyframes onto our character, what we can do is select Children, go up to Window, Dope Sheet, and then go to Functions, Bake Objects, uncheck Create Copy, hit OK. And this is going to bake through all those keyframes so that we can delete all these tags. We can delete our motion capture entirely, and we still have all of our mocap on our character. And what this means too now is if we go in and we do a little something like this, we add a cloth tag to Superman. Let's save it, hit play. Bad things are going to happen. There he goes. The whole Superman goes. That's no good. What we actually can do is if we add a vertex map tag, we can paint in green or yellow all the parts that we want the soft body to be active in. Like that. And then we can go, and in the cloth tag, if we go to mix animation, turn on with force, and drag in our vertex map, guess what we're gonna have? We got a cape. And it's being a little bit weird. I'm actually going to turn down the sim steps. There we go. We got Superman, we got a cape. Let's add a plane. Let's add a collider. And then also what we can do is let's have the cloth turn on right here so we don't get that jerk. There we go, see? Like, for getting something very quick and easy, you know, something just quickly, This is really awesome. This is just so fast. So now one thing that you will see in retargeting in Cinema4D is you have this, there's a bit of an issue with foot sliding and foot slippage, and that's just kind of because that just is what it is, unfortunately. This looks great, though. And it actually looks a little bit weird, and that's because we're applying cloth to the entire thing. And there's definitely better ways to do this. Like the other option that we could do is go in and actually grab the cape. Like this. Grab all the polys. And then you P to split. And actually, even what you want to do before that is we do current state to object. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Get rid of the skinning. Turn off our first Superman. On this one, UP. Get rid of Superman. Then on this one, UI to invert. Ah! Just get rid of the cape. And then what we can do is we take this and we add a cloth to this, and then we add a cloth belt to it, simulation tags, cloth belt, and we go belt on to Superman, and we go and we select all the points, which are just the top ones. We go to cloth belt, set, and I don't know what'll happen. Yeah, so that works really well. So now they're two separate things, and we could even make Superman here a collider, and it should work pretty well. Yeah. So this is a kind of even a better way. This seems not good. This actually might be some of the new bugs that I've been hearing about. So this method isn't working for this model, but that is one way you can do it too. Oh, golly, I don't have all frames on. If you're doing simulations, have all frames on. That's like basic. Interesting. Okay. So other things that I wanted to go through, and I don't like this character anymore, but that's a little Superman fun. Let's import a character into Rokoko Studio and do that. So if let's upload a different character. So actually, let's upload the Astronova. So big, medium, small makes these amazing characters, and oftentimes they have... Actually, let's do Apocalypse. Detailed characters. FBX characters. Mixamo. Let's try and upload this and see what we get. You know what? We might not even need to do this in Mixamo. Because it's a Mixamo character, if I go browse for this guy. And again, this is a big, medium, small character. This is from Apocalypse. Amazing characters. We go to Mixamo D1. Yeah. So the reference is just not in a T-pose. So instead we can load this character up to Mixamo and then download it in a T-pose and it'll work in Rokoko Studio. So they're heavy characters, so it's going to take a second to upload it. But this could be fun. And I want to do that idle. I'm going to mess with these a little bit. Make them a little bit cleaner. I mean, that looks pretty good. Remove. That'll make it even cleaner. Let's go back. Processing character. Thinking. Our dog clip. So cute. Look who it is. Next. Looks great. T-pose. Download. And again, it said Mixamo, but we were not able to import it because it's not in a T-pose and it wasn't in the right A-pose. So this is just one way with these Astronova characters, especially if they say Mixamo, you can load them up to Mixamo. And then if we import what we just downloaded, T-pose 1, It's always something. It's always something. Let's import this and see what the dilly is. Sometimes maybe it's the wrong. Interesting. We need to have it work with the current pose and not the reference pose, because I bet if we go to this and you want to see the reference pose, that's the reference pose. But what we can do to set the new bind pose, basically sometimes you have this problem in CG where the rest pose and the current pose are different. Right now this is the current pose and it's like, oh, it's a T pose, it should work. But if we go into poly editing, you can see that it changes. But if we grab all of these and shift click set bind pose, now nothing changes. So now if we export this, it's a little bit of a weird workaround, but sometimes this is what you gotta do in CG, you know? Export this to the desktop, call this hazmat mix rigged. I don't know why it's taking so long to save. So I'm going to figure out later, of course, it's live and nothing's working. Well, let's go grab another character. We could go grab the Superman guy that we did. Superman. This is what we downloaded from Mixamo. Look, it just works. So it's got the weird cape, but it's pretty easy to bring in your own characters. Let's detach this. Let's remove from scene, confirm. I feel like this might be a bug too. I got to report this bug. Yeah, okay, sometimes it takes a long time. Let's go find another character just that I have. Robot, AMAC. Mixamo rig. So this is a T-pose I download from Mixamo. Looks awesome. So if we wanted to, if we were to export this out and we don't hit override skeleton mesh. So when we're exporting with a mesh, we need to make sure that our actor is not visible. If this is visible, it will export too. But if it's hidden, it won't. We hit export. And this is going to export with this already on our character. And what's really cool about this is that before we export, we go in and we use some of these tools to make sure we can edit, arm spread and things like that, which can fix clipping issues, roll. We can adjust the shoulders and neck, which can give you a better, result. But we've exported this, and if we go to a new project and we import it into, it's just called clip, import it into Cinema4D because we didn't rename it. It's going to import with It hates me today. It hates me. Where's our guy? Oh, body mesh. Include the body mesh. It's always something, guys. And gals. And days. Clip. Yeah, it's taking longer because it's like you got a bunch of material, mesh. Yeah, see, there we go. That's what I was looking for. And there we go. And this did not have textures in the Rokoko studio version, so it doesn't have textures. But if it does have textures, it'll export just fine, which is just so fun. Little baby. Touch. Touch. Sit. Looks so good. Okay. So the last thing I just want to go over, you know, this is another method again of just retargeting your mocap, but let's talk about the live workflow now. So if I pull back in, let's pull back in, yeah, a Mixamo character. So if we go to models again, and this time let's go, and actually it doesn't need to be a Mixamo character. Let's grab the interceptor. Maybe we'll do this by hand. So here we have this robot character, and we can, oh, Redshift, you suck. Let's add a octane material, I'll take that. Don't shove Redshift in my face. I don't like it. I don't like that Redshift. Looking so good. So let's say we wanted to get this guy animating live from Rokoko Studio. Hold down Control to spin out the entirety of a tree. So this has an irregular skeleton. And the way that the Rokoko Studio Live plugin works is I showed you where to find it, which is on our GitHub. You go to, you know, Rokoko, GitHub, Cinema4D. And you'll find the plugin, download it from code, download zip, and then install it in the program files, Maxon 2024, and then create a plugins folder and put it in there. And I'll show you again where I have it. Program files, Maxon 2024, plugins, boom. This is the folder that you extract. So, you know, if we were to go and we right-click on Pelvis and we go to Extensions, you can see we have Rokoko here, and we can do the Rokoko tag. And if we click on this and we go to Mapping, you can see it kind of tried to do its best to assign all the right bones. It did a medium good job. Some of them it got right, and some of them it didn't. So now we can go in and we can fix these ourselves. So, chest, we're going to add spine 3. Neck and head look correct. Left shoulder, that's clavicle L. Left upper arm, left hand. Then we need the right shoulder, which is clavicle R. See, these upper arms are wrong. Upper arm twist. No, no, no. Just upper arm. Lower arm. Hand R. And we got the thigh. We got the calf. We got the foot. We got the toe, which is the ball. Leave left toe tip blank. And then right shin. You can see it's right thigh twist R. That's wrong. We need to go in and make sure that these are right. So that's corrected. And then thumb, I bet, is going to be all jacked up too. So thumb, nope, those are those are not right. Look at the third one. And the second one. No, and we don't need a metacarpal bone. So no metacarpal. And then it's 1, 2, 3. Proximal 1, 2, 3. middle 1, 2, 3, ring 1, 2. So that all looks right. And then for right, it didn't like the right hand for whatever reason. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of this metacarpal. And these look right. So then the last thing that we need to do is we need to make this into a T-pose. So I'm going to grab the arms. Straighten them out. So you need any character for the live streaming workflow. You need them to be in a T-pose. So that's kind of the prep that we have to do beforehand, right? I'm moving the upper arms. I never touch the clavicles. I just change the upper arms to get them into a T-pose. And then what I could also do is go in and, yeah, I might as well. Raise all those. You know, straighten out those fingies. You can kind of do them all at the same time, which is nice. And then remember the thumb. We want it to be flat, pointed inward. So boom, that looks good. I bet actually what I can do, can I do this with all these guys and just grab them all? Nope. Sets the axis point wrong. So we just got to grab all, we got to do one at a time. Boop. I might have screwed something up there, but we'll see. Looks right. I think it looks right. And there you go. Now we're in a T-pose. And actually what I can do even is let's point these feet forward. So this is now interceptor T-pose or interceptor RKK live. This is now ready to receive mocap because it is in a T-pose. So now if we click on the tag that we made, which is again on the pelvis, and we go to open up Rokoko Studio Live. Now in Rokoko, if we go to live streaming, we can't just turn on Cinema4D. If you're in R2023 or before, you can. But if you're in R23 or before, you can. But in R23 and above, so it's R24, R25, R26, 2023, and 2024, you need to create a custom connection. You need to put it on JSON, I believe, and then it's 1243, and let's turn it on, and let's play this in the background, and you can see Studio Connection 1243, connect, and it's receiving no data. So actually what we need to do, I think, is it does need to be a JSON LZ4. Yeah. No, wait, what is it again? No, it is JSON. Okay, JSON. Activate. Oop. I just had this working. Connect. Oh, so because I have this character on, interesting. I've never tried to live stream with a character. I gotta detach this character. So it's just Sam again. So now when we're running, so we need to go back to our start pose. We need to, under mapping, set as T-pose. And then, interesting, it's doing this thing where it's not moving. I've run into this problem before. This is, you might run into problems depending on the model you have. How do you fix this again? I think what we have to do is actually change this to the root. Let's stop the player. Let's go back to mapping. No, that's not it. Ha! Oh, the hip height is wrong. So you just got to get the hip height to be correct. Which is weird. So but okay, I think the important thing, we're not going to go through fixing this model. I should have used a model that was more of a known quantity. In fact, let's go grab Superman. So this is the model that we just rigged. Mixamo rig. And on Mixamo rig, if we go to extension, Cinema4D, it should fill it out pretty much all correctly the first go. Might need to add in one thing here. And then if we go to this guy, yeah. So it'll work with like standard Mixamo rigs. There's something weird about that character I was using, and there's always things that you're gonna have to figure out. But yeah, this is kind of how it should work. And we can change up. We can do pre-recorded clips, or we can do, you know, live streaming in theory. Okay. Well, this was a little bit all over the place for a stream, but thank you for sticking around. You know, I just wanted to kind of jump back into Cinema4D and show how you can work with it. And hopefully this did a good job of that, you know, and also always good to hop in the suit and show what the suit is capable of. I'm going to jump back and we'll do a better Cinema4D. Maybe we'll have to update our retargeting videos. But yeah, you know, it's all working pretty good. We didn't really jump into the simulation stuff. And that's a little bit because I'm feeling a little sick, and we're going to call it here because it has been 2 hours. It's been 1:40. But yeah, good little stream. Thanks for joining all. And you know, I think we're gonna kind of call it here. This was a good one. And next week we'll be jumping into Blender and playing around with some of the new Blender Auto Rig Pro workflows that we got from Carson Reed last week. And then we'll be doing more. We should have our Unreal Engine video coming out soon on retargeting, the new retargeting method. And yeah, so things are exciting. Things are good. Coil's still coming. Head rigs are going out. They're shipping. Yeah. So we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining, everyone. And yeah, we're going to call it here. Hope everyone has a really good weekend. Peace out. See you, Luke, if you're still on here. I'm going to go drink some tea. Okay. Peace all.